Tensions boiled over outside a Chicago area ICE detention facility Friday as state police clashed with protesters demanding immigration reform and accountability. At least 15 people were arrested outside the Broadview ICE detention center after demonstrators defied police orders to stay within designated protest zones. The confrontation erupted just after 8 a.m. when protesters advanced toward the main entrance of the building. Within minutes, state troopers in riot gear moved in, tackling, dragging, and detaining several activists as the standoff turned chaotic. Protester and congressional candidate Kat Abu-Ghazaleh says she was struck in the face with a baton, accusing officers of using unnecessary force.
You okay? You okay? Right here.
Yeah, I just got hit in the face with a baton.
Get back. Get him the other side. Get him the other side now.
Illinois State Police confirmed that the 15 arrested, aged between 23 and 44, now face charges including resisting arrest, obstruction, and disobeying an officer. Officials imposed a 6 p.m. curfew and later directed remaining protesters onto a public sidewalk. The Broadview facility has seen recurring unrest in recent weeks. Federal agents have previously used tear gas and less lethal rounds to disperse crowds, including journalists. Mayor Katrina Thompson criticized federal action, saying, "This is not Putin's Russia," and called for cooperation with ongoing criminal investigations. Protests are expected to continue through the weekend as local leaders and federal officials face growing pressure to address both law enforcement conduct and immigration policies at the center of the unrest.
This moment is a gathering to show unity, and this unity is more powerful than any show of force that has come from the other side of that illegally built fence. Because of this unity, our collective commitment to principle that in democracy, the rule of law matters. The fence is coming down. Unity in leadership in law enforcement. In these challenging times, we have witnessed an extraordinary unity among law enforcement. The last few weeks, the Illinois State Police, the Cook County Sheriff's Office, and the Broadview Police Department came together to form a unified command system. This system has strengthened our small but mighty police force and ensured the safety of residents, businesses, and peaceful protesters alike. Other municipal police departments have joined this effort when needed, sending officers during the most critical moments to help and protect our community. One of those moments came this past Saturday night when protests at the ICE facility descended into chaos. There were 15 arrests, and 10 of those arrested were around the ages of my own daughter. And as both a mother and a mayor, I remain deeply upset by what occurred. Protecting peace and public safety. Let me be clear, Broadview did not choose to have the ICE facility in our community, but it's here, and so are our residents. There have been far too many protesters raising their fists instead of their voices, creating chaos at the expense of those who live here. Our residents do not have the privilege to retreat to quiet neighborhoods once the cameras are gone. They live here, they work here, and they deserve peace. Therefore, in consultation with the Illinois State Police, Cook County Sheriff, I have issued a new executive order. Effective immediately, the protests will only be permitted at designated safety zones located at the ICE facility on Beach Street. The previous safety zone on 25th Avenue between Lexington and Fillmore will no longer be used for demonstrations. This decision was made to protect lives. It's been only by God's grace that no one has been seriously injured or killed as protesters dart into traffic on that busy 4-lane street. The new measure protects both the safety of protesters and the serenity of Broadview residents, standing for justice and humanity. As I've said many times, I respect, support, and defend protesters' right to peacefully First Amendment protected speech. I too am outraged by the inhumane treatment of our immigrant brothers and sisters, and by the unprovoked chemical attacks unleashed by ICE agents against American citizens, journalists, and ministers, attacks that are also in danger, Broadview police and Broadview firefighters. However, my first responsibility is to protect public safety and to defend the people of Broadview who live here, work here, and pay taxes here. They deserve stability, safety, and respect. They deserve the love and kindness that define who we are as a community.
September 30th, Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills said that he was verbally attacked by an ICE agent during a protest outside of the facility earlier in September month.
The deployment of tear gas, pepper spray, mace, and rubber bullets by ICE near the processing center in the village of Broadview is creating a dangerous situation for the community and all first responders. Broadview residents, police officers, and firefighters, paramedics are being exposed to these agents. Our own Broadview police are routinely being exposed to ICE tear gas, forcing them out for an amount of time so they can decontaminate, get their breath, clear their eyes, which takes them out of service. The use of these weapons is directly harming Broadview's first responders. Currently, the Broadview Police Department has launched 3 separate criminal investigations into ICE activities since the Midway Blitz began in the Chicago area. We have requested the full cooperation of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in these investigations, and we expect that cooperation to happen. As a longtime police officer, 37 years, I was verbally assaulted on September 12th while being on the scene, ensuring everyone's rights, First Amendment rights, were protected, as well as property. The ICE agents were doing their operation. Our officer was there, and one of the agents basically told me that I was a fascist and was not doing my job. Neither was my officers. I was offended because in my 37 years working with the Chicago Police Department, I've worked with a lot of federal agencies on criminal investigations. That has never happened. We may not always see eye to eye, but we find a way to work it out for the better of the community in our assignments. There's a lot of false claims and lack of communication. DHS claims that the Broadview Police Department has received and unanswered multiple calls for assistance from the ICE facility. That is totally false. Our message from the very beginning is we will respond to all calls for service. We have multiple businesses directly next to the ICE facility, and those businesses are key components in the village of Broadview and our livelihood, and they deserve the best service. So again, those statements are false. We respond to every call for service. On September 9th, as an example, as the mayor mentioned, we received only a single call from the facility about objects on the railroad tracks. We did respond, but we also contacted the Harbor Belt Railroad, who has their own police department, and they sent people. Nothing happened.